Hi, I'm Tim Kilduff, and this is Business Matters. Business Matters is HCAM's show focusing not only on businesses in Hopkinton, but more importantly, the people who run and manage these businesses. Today, I'm pleased to have with me James Cassidy, the president of Platinum Physical Therapy. James, thank you for being here, but
Absolutely.
We did one of these before.
We did, yeah.
You know when it was?
Had to be 8 years ago?
Well, it was actually 2016.
Feels like a lot of time's passed.
Yeah, it has. Well, a lot has changed in your business, hasn't it?
It has, yes. Yeah.
Let's give the audience a little refresher.
Sure.
Tell us a little bit about the physical therapy training that you had to go through. Your schooling and that sort of thing. Because you just don't put a shingle on the front of a building and say, "Hey, I'm going to do physical therapy and help people." Do you? You do more than that.
It is more complicated than that. Well, at this point, people coming out of physical therapy school with a degree are going to have a doctorate. That's a clinical doctorate, so a DPT degree. When I got out of school, it was only a master's. So I did my 4 years of undergraduate work and then did a 2-year master's degree. You do a thesis, you do some research, you do clinical rotations in all the specialties, neuro, peds, geriatrics, all the different things like that. I came out of school, worked for about 4 years for other people, and that's kind of when I decided I wanted to do my own thing, set up my own shingle, so to speak. And yeah, that's when I determined, I just felt like I could do a better job both for the patient and for the employee. And so really that was my mission, was to create an environment where the physical therapists who are working for me love their job, have a great situation, can really focus on patient care and not have to worry so much about all the other insurance guidelines and administrative hoops and those types of things. And also where the patients, again, then are going to get the highest quality care. So that's what I strove to create, and that was way back in 2004 that I started out.
Really? And there are initials, there are letters after your name. PT
Yes.
And then MPT. What does that mean?
So each state is a little different how they have you write your letters, but Massachusetts here, you would write James L. Cassidy, PT. That means you have a license to practice physical therapy in the state, and then the MPT is stating your degree. So I have a master's in physical therapy. All the majority of my employees now have that PT. They have their license. They pass the national licensure exam, and then they'll have a DPT because they have a doctorate of physical therapy. They are now doing 3 years of graduate school before they can come out and practice.
Well, so. I don't think people know that.
I don't think a lot of people do. It's a lot of education, and really these are, they're the potentially primary care providers for musculoskeletal conditions. I mean, the amount of training they have and the level of expertise is phenomenal. So
you came out of school. Then tell us a little bit about the career development then, and then ultimately how you ended up in Hopkinton.
Sure. Yeah. So the original clinic was in Ashland. I started there. I was living in Ashland. Went, looked around at some spaces, found a space that I felt like was a good location, and really started from scratch. I had nothing. I hooked up the telephones, opened the doors, and started knocking on doors, just trying to get those first few patients in. The nice thing was, once I got those first few patients in, it really grew very organically from there. People come in, if you take care of them, you get them better, they're going to send their friends and family. And they did. And as they did that and I got busier, I hired on someone to help me. And then people, more and more people just kept sending friends and family until we were bursting at the seams in Ashland. I had a good number, 50% of our caseload was from Hopkinton. Those people were begging me to come up here and open a clinic, even though it was a few miles down the road. They were all asking. They said, why don't you open up something in Hopkinton? So ultimately I did. I found a good space up here. We opened up that second clinic, and again, that boomed as well and took off, and it just keeps growing, which is fantastic.
Now, where are you located now?
So we are in Hopkinton, right at the exit there or on-ramp for 495, right where it meets West Main Street. So there's the new building there with the 110 grill, and we're right upstairs from the 110 grill at 1 Lumber Street.
It's a pretty exciting place to be in Hopkinton. There's a lot of traffic.
It's a good plaza. Yeah, it's very busy. You got the restaurant there. You've got a bunch of good doctors in there. It's a very busy plaza. It's great visibility for us. We have a nice sign on the outside of the building. Yeah, we're very happy with the location. And again, being in with the doctors too, it's a nice easy, convenient thing for our patients because
Yeah.
they can pop over.
Do you have other locations?
Yes, so we've got the original still in Ashland. We've got our Hopkinton location. We have a location in Milford that's actually located inside the Gold's Gym in Milford. We have a room in there, and then we can use the whole gym for all our rehabilitation stuff there. And then we're also inside the Hopkinton CrossFit Resilience.
Really?
Yeah, we're in a room there. We share a room with a massage therapist. We're over there 3 or 4 days a week, just kind of for 3 or 4 hours at a time. But it allows us to provide on-site care for their athletes. So it's worked out very well as well.
So you, as you said, you opened the door, you plugged in the telephone. It was you.
Yes.
Well, how many employees now?
So now we're up to 18 employees.
Wow.
Yeah, we have 13 or 14 physical therapists on staff amongst all the locations. And yeah, it's, a lot of people are needing help. So it's
How's
good.
that changed your life? 18 employees.
It's changed what I do day to day, certainly. I was treating a lot when I originally opened up, of course. I was working 60, 70, 8-hour weeks. I was treating 50 plus hours. Now with that many employees, since I am the IT guy, I am the HR guy, I wear all the hats. So now I'm only treating about 10 hours a week. And then all my other hours, which are still extensive, are running the business, managing, marketing, taking care of my employees, all of those jobs.
So you have this training, right? Interest, helping people, and now you've got to broaden the business skills, don't you?
Yes.
How did you do that? How did you catch up? How did you do that?
So a good amount of it was learning on the job. I've as far as hiring. Interviewing people, what are good ways to interview people? What's a good process to onboard? Things like that. It was a mix. I did a lot of reading. I've attended some conferences, but again, a lot of just on-the-job training, trial by fire. I've made plenty of mistakes over the years. Learned from those and been trying to do it better. As you do that. So there's been a good amount of that. I will say I've joined some local business groups though that help as well. There's a Hopkinton business group, BNI, and that's been phenomenal. There's about 50 different business leaders that are all local, and we not only pass referrals back and forth, but we also work together, educate each other, and help each other out as far as all the things you're talking about. Who's a good payroll company, and what should you look for in a payroll company? What different benefits should we offer our employees, from 401k plans to financial planning, and it's nice too because I get to use all local people to help all my business and my employees. So that's been a phenomenal connection.
I'm intrigued by the fact that you're you have a facility, I guess you could call it, or at a place like CrossFit. Mm-hmm. That's a very different model than having people come to your office, isn't it?
It is, and when we started that, it was definitely an experiment of sorts. They invited us in, and we said, yeah, absolutely. I think there's some value there for your clients, as well as for our patients. Convenience factor. They can just, they can exercise, they can do their stuff, they can come right in and get some treatment at the same time. So we started out just a few hours a week, and again, it's been great. We have a great relationship with them. The owners over there, Jamie and Brooks, are fantastic. And now, so we've been slowly increasing our hours there, seeing more and more people there, and it's worked out really well. I mean, again, we just need a small room for all the hands-on treatment and for evaluations, and then we have the entire gym area where we can, stretch and move and rehab people that way. So it's good.
Has the type of injuries, I guess, is one way to ask. The type of injuries changed. How's the business, the therapy part of the business? Mm-hmm. Has it changed since you started?
A little bit. I on the one hand, I want to say the patient, and which is now ultimately the consumer, because they're all paying for it. They're footing the bill at the end of the day. I'm going to say largely more educated. I think there's so much content out there on the internet and so many different things. They're coming in with more and better questions. They're coming in with a little better understanding. Now, this isn't all the time, of course. We still have people coming in, they haven't been hurt before. They don't understand what's going on or what the process is going to be. Absolutely, and we're going to guide them through that. But a lot of our patients are coming in, though, more educated. And that just it helps the whole process, because we'll develop a plan of care, And it's very much a relationship. You know, it's not just, oh, come in and fix me, James. It's, okay, you have this problem. We're going to work together. You know, I'll do my part, but you're going to do your part also. And it's that team approach, really, between the physical therapist and the patient that ultimately gets them better the quickest and also gets the best results.
How about age spread?
We see everything. You know, we typically go as young as, I'm going to say 6, although we probably have had some 4-year-olds in there. Like, well, we'll take some younger patients, certainly, depending on the diagnosis and what's going on. And then all the way up to, I want to say, you know, we've definitely had people who are over 100 years old. I'm trying to think of who our oldest one is now. Yeah, we have a good geriatric population, and, you know, yeah, so the whole gambit. We tend to see a more athletic population in my clinics, you know, overall. I would say a lot of athletes, you know, from the high school, local running clubs, elite professional runners, things like that. But we get everybody. We get a lot of employees from Dell EMC who are, you know, sit all day at work and have problems from that. Then we get other people who have problems because they exercise so many hours. They're exercising 30 hours a week, and they have their own issues. So
I bet you could do a half an hour program on movement, just the importance of movement, couldn't you?
yes,
Is
absolutely.
That, in terms of the geriatric, the older patients, is that one of the issues?
Moving is definitely the most important thing. A clinic owner I know down in Virginia always says, motion is the lotion. You know, you got to move to be able to keep moving. And it's once people stop moving that all the problems start to happen. So yes, you just have to keep moving. And the patients that we know who have stayed active and keep moving, and I mean, we'll get people in their 70s or 80s who are out there, they're shoveling snow, they're doing a whole lot of stuff still, and they're amazingly fit and in amazing shape. And it's not that they happen to be healthy and so they can do this stuff. It's because they do that stuff, because they move, that they are maintaining that level of health. So yeah.
You mentioned athletes in referrals that and you did mention the high school level, but in terms of your outreach, are you attracting anybody who moves deserves credit, but
Sure.
I'm talking about sort of high end, more elite athletes?
We are. So we've developed over the years a bunch of different specialty programs. So we have a dance medicine program now. We have a women's health program, but we also have now a high performance running program. And that's really, especially, you know, we're getting close to the Boston Marathon now, but we have a lot of elite and professional runners now who are reaching out to us. We get, you know, whether it's the BAA elites who are coming in, we have New Balance runners, Saucony runners, different people who have kind of found out about us are coming in, and now we're helping them. Ultimately, at this point, we're helping them prepare for the Olympics, which is a blast. I mean, it's fun to work with them. I mean, the way they move is at a different level, certainly, and the issues they're coming in with are of a different nature because they're getting that because they're running 80 to 100 miles a week. You know,
Overtraining?
Yeah, they try to walk that line. They want to train as much as they possibly can without crossing that line. So they're always walking it. So sometimes they're going to step on the wrong side of that. And if we catch them quick enough, and this is what we're encouraging them, and they know this and they're pretty smart about it, they come in right away. If they tweak something, they're in within a week. And if they come in that quickly, we can fix that within a couple weeks, and they're on the roads. Like, they never have to really sit on the sidelines. So yeah, it goes
Wow.
It goes well that way. But
Wow.
yeah, it's a lot of fun though, and yeah, we're trying to develop programs. Not to go off too much on a side note, but it's interesting. These athletes, all these professional athletes, they're professional runners. There's not really any money in that. So it's a new interesting thing I've had to work on as far as a problem, because they don't necessarily have health insurance, or they don't have good health insurance because they can't afford it. They're not provided this by any of their sponsors. No one gives them health insurance. So most of them are coming in having a difficult time actually affording the physical therapy, which is what they need to actually do their job. You know, and ultimately, again, we're talking about making the Olympics. So I've been investigating creative ways to potentially help these people out, whether it's a sponsorship program, offering local businesses the opportunity to, hey, sponsor an Olympic hopeful, buy them some PT sessions so that they can come in, do that, and keep going, or even we're looking at other things to potentially have them work with charities and local charities, nonprofits, where they can earn physical therapy visits, and I shouldn't say physical therapy visits, but earn visits in our high performance running program, which is a cash-based service. So it involves teaching them how to move, strengthening, stretching, conditioning, things like that. But they can maybe earn some of these high performance program visits by giving back. Volunteer this many hours, and you can earn a session with us. So been looking at a bunch of different opportunities and ways to kind of help them out. It was an unexpected challenge, I guess. You think, oh, these pro athletes, great, they're going to come in, they're going to pay for their sessions, they're motivated, they want to get better. I did not anticipate the financial issues that the majority of them have. So it's interesting.
So give us a case study of a runner who has aspirations to run in the Olympics.
Okay. So I'll think of a couple different people. One of our athletes, professional runner, Scott, her shoe sponsor, she came out of college and just had injuries for years, kind of had a couple okay performances, but just kind of, as a former national champion, NCAA All-American, couldn't get over these injuries, racing off and on. Her husband is currently in medical school, so he's a student. So they don't really have any income. They don't really have, they're kind of not set up that way. She came originally into our clinic to use our Alter G, which is our anti-gravity treadmill, which I think we've talked about our last session. So she came in just to use that because she was hurt and was trying to keep training and keep things together. That is one vehicle that kind of allows for that.
Right.
But as we got to talking and she was telling me about her different injuries, I spoke to her very honestly. I said, I think, the stuff you're describing, I think we can help you with. Like that's something we can handle. And originally, again, some of these younger athletes, she was on her parents' insurance for a couple more months, so we were able to, utilize the health insurance that way. But then ultimately, once they turn a certain age and can't be on their parents' insurance, again, that's when we look for other solutions and ways and other opportunities for them. But anyway, ultimately, got her pain-free. She's now had 6 months pain-free. She's getting faster, faster, faster. She's had amazing results the last couple races. She's got one more race on the calendar for this season, a little downtime, and then, Olympic trials in June and hopefully Tokyo after that. So
What sport? What event?
this is going to be the 5,000 meters that she's
5,000 meters?
Yeah.
Wow.
So she's run, I think her personal best is like a 15:10 or somewhere around there. And at this point, that's a very competitive field. She'll probably have to get down closer to 15 to make the team, but I think that's very possible. She hasn't had a healthy season in a long time until these last few months.
Wow. So how do you go from that level, tweaking's not the right word, but sort of adjusting that kind of therapy to the average high school student that may have, overdone something?
Sure. Yeah, so it is, every patient, it's a very individual process to manage that patient. And they're going to have different goals, different motivations, different things like that. So we really try to have the patient, we work with them from that first session. What are your goals? Is it the Olympics or is it just, it might be an older patient who just wants to be able to go to the grocery store, without any pain. So it's really patient-driven. What are your goals? And we're going to help you achieve those. Now, with different populations, there's different ways to kind of complement that. The high school athletes you're talking about, we will have them we have an app that they can have on their phone
Of course.
that has all their exercises on it.
You didn't anticipate that when you were in school
I did
either.
not. But so for them, when we give them their homework, so to speak, they can go on their phone, and pull up the app, and there are videos, and it shows them, you're going to do this exercise. This is how many times. Here's the correct form. It gives them cues, and it rolls through, and they can just go through with their app, and they roll through their program, and it's perfect. And so that's one of the techniques we've used to get the high school adherence level better, because that was kind of the harder thing with that younger crowd, is getting them to do their homework. and the parents will come in and say, I can't get them to do their exercises. Can you guys get, and I don't know, we can't, so so there's different technology we will use, depending on, again, the patient and what they're doing. Now, that won't work for some of our older patients who don't have a smartphone, who don't use the internet, don't use some of that technology. So we'll be using paper handouts, and we'll be doing a lot in clinic. And, so depending on the patient and their goals and needs, we're going to adjust. We're going to make it specific for each individual person. So.
Wow. The challenges have sure shifted, haven't they?
Yeah, it's been a changing thing, but that makes it exciting and interesting, and challenging certainly. But I like solving problems.
What's the future look like? Do you think about that? Do you have time to think about that?
No, I do, because you never know with healthcare. There's always talk and big changes, and you never know what's going to happen. Ultimately, right now, I'll give you my guess of what's going to happen.
All right, good.
At this point, employers are in charge. I don't know if they all realize it, but they own healthcare. So you'll have Blue Cross, Harvard Pilgrim, all these different insurance companies. They're really third-party administrators at this point. Employers are footing the bill. They're paying all of it. They're doing it all. So it's really going to be on employers to have the responsibility to choose benefits, to choose how high copays are, to choose deductibles, to do all those things. So I think the employers are going to have to get much more educated, and especially the larger employers, Staples, Bose, Dell EMC, you've got all these. They're going to have to become very educated consumers as far as, and really do their own research and really learn a lot, I think, as far as what benefits are the most important for their employees. How are we going to keep our employees the most productive and at work? Every day an employee misses at a job, it costs the company a certain amount of money. And for the bigger ones, it's usually $6,000 a day. So so the example that I'm going to give you as a physical therapist would be, okay, if we give them better access to physical therapy with a low or no copay and more visits, are we going to avoid those days out of work? Because now when this person starts feeling back pain, they just go to their physical therapist, get it fixed, just like the professional athlete. If they come in to see us in that first week, it takes a couple of visits and they're better, and we educate them and they know what to do now. Versus they wait because they don't want to pay their deductible, they don't want to pay out of pocket, they want to do all these things until it's a catastrophe. Now they've missed a week of work, now they're having to take opioids. We can go all the way down the road, but hopefully these employers will buy into prevention, wellness, more and more and more, and give good benefits. So they're going to be in charge.
It seems to me that what you're really saying is if you have an issue, a problem, the best thing to do is to get it fixed ASP. Don't wait. Don't expect it to go away. It's to close the time between the identification of the problem and treatment.
For sure. There's a lot of research out there that, and low back pain is usually a great example, because that's what hurts most of America's workforce and causes people to miss work. But there's a lot of research out there now that the sooner you get into physical therapy with back pain, the overall cost of healthcare to the patient, to the employer, to everyone is significantly less, as is the time that they have to be in pain. So.
Well, congratulations. A lot of progress, a lot of growth. It really is. It's exciting to hear about the success story. I think we'd be remiss if we didn't talk a little bit about the fact that you and your family live in Hopkinton.
We do, yes. So we're in Hopkinton. My kids are going to the Hopkinton schools, which we've loved. My daughters, I have twins who are 7. I've got a 9-year-old, and then I also have 2 older girls from my first marriage. So I have 5 daughters, which is exciting and busy. But we love it here. We've had, the community here is fantastic. The amount of support and love I see anyway between all the residents and whether it's through the schools, through the local businesses, through we're members of the running club, through the running club, all these different organizations in town. The HCA, I could list a million, but we have all these great organizations. It's a great place for us to be, and we couldn't be happier, quite honestly, in Hopkinton.
The location has got to help the business. Well, more importantly, those 5 girls, they active?
Yes.
Involved in sports?
Yep.
Been treated?
The 2 older ones have. The little ones so far have been able to stay out of the clinic, which is great.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Well, the location itself, Hopkinton, You know, there are a lot of talk about that, but you know, I didn't realize, as somebody the other day mentioned something to me about Hopkinton is in the center of the three. I think it's the three largest cities in New England: Boston,
I can see that.
obviously,
Yeah, yeah.
Providence, and Worcester.
Yeah.
People forget Worcester, so this location has got to be a real asset for your business.
It is for sure. We've had patients from, West Boylston, from, west out by Springfield. We had some kids from Williams College who came out. Like, we've had all over the state, all over, the region, kids, from Providence College, from up in New Hampshire. But being right here, right where, basically the Pike and 495 intersect, I think the convenience factor is huge. And I think as people start moving farther and farther out of the city, it only grows as well. So the location's fantastic.
So if there was one message you wanted to leave people with about your work and your business, what would it be?
I think just to let people know to, use physical therapy. I mean, it doesn't, anywhere, any clinic around, just go, if you start having aches or pains, go see your physical therapist. They can get you better and feeling better and get rid of the pain and the aches and all that stuff. So just go see your physical therapist wherever you live.
Well, this is, I'm really taken back. I'm taken back in a very, very positive way. You've come a long way. The business has come a long way. You're adding jobs to this market. You're bringing notoriety to the community. You're running a successful business, one that has had to evolve. That's all great news. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Good
Thank
for
you
you.
very much.
Well, another example of quality business run by a quality person, hiring quality people. So it's really a privilege to have you with us, James, and appreciate you taking the time, and continued good luck.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Tim. Appreciate it.
Every year, 30,000 elephants are killed by poachers. 8 million tons of plastic is dumped into the ocean, and 18 million acres of forest disappear. And with them, many of the remarkable animals that share our planet. These animals need our help. Their very survival depends on our ability to protect them. Zoos and aquariums are on the front lines of wildlife conservation and inspire environmental stewardship amongst the millions of families that visit every year. And know that zoos and aquariums that have earned the Humane Certified Seal of Approval from American Humane